I was 32 years old when my brother told my children I was going to hell for being gay. It was October 2015, a Saturday afternoon in Seattle. My wife Jessica and I had been living in our house in the Capitol Hill neighborhood for 3 years. We had 2 kids, Emma, who was 7, and Noah, who was 5. Life was good. We both worked as software engineers, made decent money, had a community of friends, a life we'd built together over a decade. My older brother Brad was visiting from Boise, Idaho. He was 35, married to a woman named Karen, father of 2 kids himself, Sophia, who was 8, and Michael, who was 6. Brad and I had grown up close in Spokane, best friends as kids, but we drifted apart after I came out at 22. He'd become increasingly religious and conservative, attending an evangelical mega-church, posting Fox News articles constantly, making it clear he disapproved of my lifestyle. But he was still my brother. And I kept hoping that family would matter more than politics. That he'd eventually accept me and Jessica and our kids. So when he'd called saying he'd be in Seattle for a work conference and wanted to visit, I'd said yes. Jessica had been hesitant. Are you sure? Last time he was here, he made all those comments about traditional marriage and biblical values. I know. But he's my brother. And the kids barely know their uncle. I want them to have family. Okay. But I'm not putting up with any homophobic bullshit. Not in our house. I'll talk to him. Set boundaries. It'll be fine. It was not fine. Brad arrived Saturday morning with Karen and their kids. The first few hours were awkward but manageable. Emma and Noah were excited to see their cousins. They rarely got to spend time together since we lived in different states. The 4 kids played in the backyard while the adults sat in the living room making strained small talk. Brad kept making little comments. Nothing overtly offensive, just pointed enough to make everyone uncomfortable. Must be nice living in Seattle. Very liberal city. Lot of acceptance here. The schools are good. Though I worry about what they're teaching kids these days. All that progressive curriculum. Karen and I are thinking about homeschooling. Want to make sure our kids learn proper values. Jessica shot me looks. I tried to steer conversations to neutral topics, work, the kids' activities, the weather. But Brad kept circling back to veiled criticisms of our life. Around 2 p.m., I realized we were out of groceries for dinner. I'd planned to make pasta with salad, but we didn't have enough ingredients. I'm going to run to Whole Foods real quick, I said. Jessica, you want to come? Can't. I have a work call at 2:30. Conference call with the team in India. I looked at Brad and Karen. You guys okay watching the kids for an hour? They're all playing together, shouldn't be any trouble. Of course, Brad said. We're family. No problem. I hesitated. Something felt off. But I couldn't articulate what. And I needed groceries. Jessica would be home, just on a work call upstairs. Okay. Thanks. I'll be back soon. I drove to Whole Foods, picked up pasta, vegetables, bread, ingredients for salad. Took maybe an hour total. The whole time, I felt vaguely anxious but told myself I was being paranoid. Brad was their uncle. He wouldn't do anything inappropriate. I was wrong. I got home around 3:15, groceries in hand, and immediately knew something was very wrong. The house was too quiet. No sounds of kids playing. No TV. No laughter. I walked into the kitchen and found Emma and Noah sitting at the table, both crying. Emma's face was red and blotchy, tears streaming down her cheeks. Noah was sobbing so hard he was hiccuping, his little body shaking. Brad was sitting across from them with a children's Bible open on the table. Brightly illustrated pages showing biblical scenes. Including, I noticed with horror, an illustration of hell, flames, people in torment, demons. What's going on? I said, setting the groceries down. Emma looked up at me, her face crumpling. Mommy. She ran to me and threw her arms around my waist, sobbing into my shirt. Noah followed, both kids clinging to me desperately. What happened? I looked at Brad. What did you do? He stood up calmly, self-righteous expression on his face. I told them the truth, Rachel. The truth you've been hiding from them. What truth? About sin. About consequences. About where people who live in sin end up. My blood ran cold. What exactly did you tell my children? Emma pulled back, looking up at me with devastated eyes. Uncle Brad said you and Mama Jessica are going to hell. Forever and ever. Because you're both girls and you love each other, and that's a really big sin against God. The words hit me like a physical blow. I stared at my brother, unable to process what I was hearing. He showed us pictures, Emma continued, her voice breaking. In the Bible. Of hell. With fire. And he said that's where you're going to be. Burning forever. Because of what you are. Noah was crying so hard he could barely speak. I don't want Mommy to burn fire. I don't want Mommy to go away. I knelt down and pulled both kids into my arms, holding them tight while my hands shook with rage. Over their heads, I stared at Brad. Get out of my house. Rachel. Get out. Now. They needed to know the truth. The Bible is clear about homosexuality. Romans 1:26-27. Leviticus. It's explicitly condemned. I'm trying to save their souls. You told my 7-year-old daughter she's going to hell. You traumatized my 5-year-old son with images of fire and damnation. Get the fuck out of my house before I call the police. Karen appeared from the living room, looking uncomfortable. Brad, maybe we should. No. They deserve to know what their mothers are. What kind of sin they're living in. Someone has to tell them the truth, since Rachel and Jessica clearly won't. I stood up, shaking with fury. Emma and Noah clung to my legs. I am telling you one last time. Leave my house. Leave my property. And never come near my children again. You can't keep me from my niece and nephew. Watch me. You're never seeing them again. Ever. Now get out. I was screaming now. I never screamed. But this man, my own brother, had weaponized religion against my children. Had used them to hurt me. Had traumatized them with threats of eternal damnation. Brad grabbed the children's Bible and walked toward the door. You're making a mistake, Rachel. They need to know the truth about the lifestyle you've chosen. About the consequences of sin. The only consequence here is you never seeing these kids again. Leave. Karen gathered their children quickly. Sophia and Michael looked confused and scared. Brad walked out without another word, his family following. The moment the door closed, I locked it and sank to the floor. Emma and Noah were both crying again, holding on to me. Mommy, is it true? Emma asked through tears. Are you really going to hell? No, baby. No. Uncle Brad was wrong. So wrong. But he showed us the Bible. The Bible is a book that people interpret different ways. Uncle Brad interprets it in a very hurtful way. But Mama Jessica and I are not going to hell. We love each other. We love you and Noah. Love is never wrong. Promise? Noah asked, his voice tiny and scared. I promise. But I could see the fear in their eyes. The damage had already been done. Jessica came downstairs, her conference call must have ended. She took one look at all of us on the floor and immediately understood something terrible had happened. What's wrong? Where's Brad? I told her. Watched her face go from confused to horrified to furious. He told them what? That we're going to hell. Showed them pictures from a Bible. Traumatized them while I was at Whole Foods. Jessica knelt down with us, gathered Emma and Noah into her arms too. You two listen to me. Your mommy and I are not going anywhere bad. We're right here. We're safe. We love you so much. Uncle Brad was very, very wrong to say those things. But why did he say it? Emma asked. Why would he lie? Because he has beliefs that hurt people, I said. He thinks his beliefs are right, but they're actually just mean. And cruel. And we don't agree with them at all. We sat on that floor for probably 30 minutes, holding our kids, reassuring them, trying to undo the damage Brad had done in 1 hour. That night was awful. Emma and Noah wouldn't sleep in their own beds. They were terrified that if they fell asleep, we'd disappear. That we'd be taken to hell. We all ended up in our bed together, me and Jessica with 2 kids between us, everyone squeezed in tight. Emma kept reaching out to touch me, making sure I was still there. Noah held Jessica's hand all night. Around midnight, Emma asked in a small voice, Mommy? Are you really, really sure you're not going to hell? I'm completely sure, sweetheart. I promise you. I'm right here and I'm not going anywhere. Uncle Brad seemed really sure. Uncle Brad believes something that isn't true. He's wrong. And what he did, scaring you like that, was really wrong. I'm scared. I know. But you're safe. We're all safe. She finally fell asleep around 1 a.m. Noah maybe 30 minutes later. Jessica and I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, both of us furious and heartbroken. I'm going to kill him, Jessica whispered. Get in line. He terrorized our children. Our babies. With hell imagery. What kind of person does that? Someone who cares more about being right than being kind. You're never letting him near them again, right? Never. He's done. Completely done. The next morning, Brad called. I saw his name on my phone and felt rage surge through me again. I answered. What? Rachel, we need to talk about yesterday. No. We don't. You overreacted. I was just sharing my faith with Emma and Noah. You traumatized my children. Emma had nightmares all night. Noah is terrified I'm going to disappear. They're both scared that their mothers are going to hell. They should be scared. That's the reality of sin. There is no sin. There's just love. Jessica and I love each other. We love our kids. We're good parents. We have a good life. And you tried to destroy that with your hateful interpretation of religion. It's not hateful. It's biblical. It's abuse. What you did is called spiritual abuse. And I will never let you near my children again. Do you understand me? Never. You can't keep me from my niece and nephew. Watch me. You're blocked. On everything. Phone, social media, everything. Don't call. Don't text. Don't try to contact us. You're dead to me. Rachel. I hung up. Immediately blocked his number. Blocked Karen's. Blocked them both on Facebook, Instagram, everything. Then I called my parents. They lived in Spokane, same city Brad lived in. Conservative Christians, though not as extreme as Brad had become. I needed to tell them what happened before Brad did. My father answered. Rachel. How was Brad's visit? Terrible. Dad, I need to tell you something. Brad did something unforgivable. I explained what happened. The whole story. Expected them to be horrified. Expected them to understand. Instead, my father sighed. Rachel, Brad was just sharing his faith. You know we believe homosexuality is a sin. He told my 7-year-old daughter she's going to hell. He showed my 5-year-old son pictures of fire and damnation. That's not sharing faith. That's traumatizing children. He was trying to help. To save their souls from the lifestyle you're exposing them to. There is no lifestyle. There's just our family. And if you think what Brad did was okay, then you're not welcome around my kids either. My mother got on the phone. Rachel, don't be dramatic. Brad loves those children. He was just concerned. Concerned? Mom, Emma won't sleep in her own bed. Noah is having panic attacks. They're terrified that their mothers are going to disappear to hell. That's not concern. That's cruelty. Maybe if you'd raised them with proper religious education, they wouldn't be so upset. We're done here. Tell Brad he's never seeing my kids again. And if you agree with what he did, you're on thin ice too. I hung up on them as well. Over the next few weeks, the full extent of the damage became clear. Emma was having nightmares every night. Vivid, terrifying dreams about fire and hell and her mother's burning. She'd wake up screaming, needing reassurance that we were still there. Noah developed severe separation anxiety. Couldn't let Jessica or me out of his sight. Would panic if we left the room. Would cry and beg us not to go anywhere. We took them both to a child therapist who specialized in religious trauma. Dr. Lisa Martinez, a kind woman in her 40s who'd seen cases like this before. What your brother did is called spiritual abuse, she explained in our first session. He used religious fear to traumatize children. To punish you through them. It's a form of psychological violence. Can it be fixed? Jessica asked. Yes. But it takes time. These kids have been told that the most important people in their lives are going to suffer eternally. That's a profound trauma. We'll work through it, but it won't be quick. Emma started weekly therapy sessions. So did Noah. The appointments cost $150 each, not covered by insurance. $300 a week, $1,200 a month, for years. But it was necessary. We watched our children slowly process the trauma. Slowly learn that Uncle Brad's version of religion wasn't the only version. That hell wasn't real, or at least, not the literal fire and brimstone place he'd described. That their mothers were safe and good and loved. It took Emma almost 2 years to stop having nightmares regularly. Took Noah even longer to overcome his separation anxiety. By the time he was 8, he could finally let us leave the house without panicking. Brad tried to contact me several times over those first few months. Called from different numbers. Had Karen call. Had my parents call on his behalf. Every time, the message was the same: I was overreacting. He'd just been sharing his faith. I was being dramatic. I never responded. Just blocked every new number. Told my parents that if they wanted to see their grandchildren, they needed to respect my boundaries. That meant no defending Brad. No trying to get us to reconcile. No passing messages. They agreed, reluctantly. But the relationship was never the same. They came to visit once or twice a year, but there was always tension. Always the unspoken disagreement about whether Brad had done something wrong. I moved on with my life. Focused on my kids. On healing the damage Brad had caused. On building a family that felt safe and loved and accepted. 9 years passed. Emma grew from 7 to 16. Noah from 5 to 14. Both turned into incredible kids, kind, thoughtful, resilient despite the trauma they'd experienced. Emma was a junior in high school now, passionate about social justice and activism. Noah was in 8th grade, quiet and artistic, a talented painter. They both knew their story. Knew what Uncle Brad had done. Knew why they'd never seen him since they were little. And they were okay. Not undamaged, trauma leaves scars, but okay. Happy. Thriving. We rarely talked about Brad. He was a ghost from their childhood, a bad memory they'd processed in therapy and moved past. Until one day in March 2024, when my phone rang with an unknown Idaho number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Rachel. It's Brad. I froze. 9 years. 9 years since I'd heard his voice. How did you get this number? I need to talk to you. It's important. It's about Sophia. Sophia. His daughter. She'd be 17 now. Same age Emma had been when Brad traumatized her. Wait, no. Emma had been 7. Sophia was 17. A decade older. What about Sophia? She told us something. Last week. Something that's tearing our family apart. I had a sinking feeling I knew where this was going. She said she's bisexual. That she's dating a girl from her school. Some girl named Mia from Roosevelt High. She says this is who she is. That we need to accept it. There it was. The thing I'd somehow known was coming since he'd said Sophia's name. Okay. So I need your help. Sophia worships you. She's been following you on social media for years apparently. She sees you as some kind of role model. She thinks if you can be gay and happy, she can be bisexual and happy. She's right. She's not. She's confused. This is just teenage experimentation. But she won't listen to me or Karen. She says we're bigots. She's shut us out completely. But she'll listen to you. I know she will. Let me get this straight. Your daughter came out as bisexual, you rejected her, and now you want me to talk her out of it? Not talk her out of it. Just explain that it's a phase. That she doesn't have to embrace this identity. That she can choose to be normal. Normal. That word. I took a deep breath. Counted to 5. Brad, do you remember October 2015? What? That's not relevant right now. Do you remember what you did when you visited my house? Silence on the other end. Do you remember sitting my 7-year-old daughter and my 5-year-old son at the kitchen table with a children's Bible and telling them their mothers were going to hell? Rachel, I was trying to save their souls. Do you remember showing them pictures of hell? Of fire and damnation? Do you remember making Emma cry so hard she couldn't breathe? Making Noah so terrified he had nightmares for years? They needed to know the truth about your lifestyle. They needed therapy. Years of therapy. Emma had nightmares for 2 years. Noah had separation anxiety that lasted until he was 8. They were traumatized. By you. Because you decided your religious beliefs mattered more than my children's mental health. I did what I thought was right. And now your daughter is bisexual. Now you're facing exactly what you tried to warn my kids about. The corruption of LGBTQ identity. The sin you ranted about for years. And you want MY help? She'll listen to you. Good family who will actually love her unconditionally. You can't do this. You can't encourage her. You told my children I was going to hell. You said I served Satan. You called me a sinner who would corrupt youth. Remember? That was different. No, it wasn't. And now here's what's going to happen, Brad. Sophia is not going to listen to you. She's going to reject your hateful beliefs. She's going to embrace her identity. And you're going to live with that. Rachel. You remember what you said? That I was going to hell? That I was evil and satanic? Well, according to you, I listened to Satan. So Sophia can listen to Satan too. Since that's apparently who I am. That's not funny. It's hilarious. You spent years telling everyone I was corrupting society with my sinful lifestyle. Now your own daughter is queer. That's not just irony. That's karma. Please. I'm begging you. Talk to her. Tell her this is wrong. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to tell her she's loved, accepted, valid. That being bisexual is beautiful. That she deserves happiness. Everything you denied my children, I'm giving to yours. I'll never forgive you for this. I don't care. I've spent 9 years not caring about your forgiveness. I can spend 9 more. Sophia, on the other hand, deserves family who love her. And since you won't be that family, I will. You're destroying my family. No, Brad. You destroyed mine first. When you told my children I was going to hell. When you traumatized them for years. You planted these seeds. Now you get to watch them grow. Goodbye. I hung up. Blocked his number immediately. Sat there on my couch, shaking, heart pounding. Jessica came into the room. Who was that? Brad. Your brother Brad? After 9 years? His daughter came out as bisexual. He wants me to talk her out of it. Jessica stared at me. You're kidding. Nope. Apparently Sophia's been following us on social media for years. Sees me as a role model. Now she's dating a girl and Brad's freaking out. Wants me to tell her it's just a phase. What did you say? I told him Sophia can listen to Satan. Since that's apparently who I am. Then I hung up and blocked him. Jessica started laughing. Couldn't help it. Oh my God. After what he did to Emma and Noah, he thinks you'd help him? The audacity is breathtaking. Are you going to talk to Sophia? I don't know. She's 17. I haven't seen her since she was 8. I don't even know her. But she knows you. If she's been following us online, she knows our family. Knows we're happy. Maybe that's what she needs right now, to see that being queer doesn't mean being miserable. You think I should reach out? I think if Brad's daughter needs support, and we can give it, we should. Not for Brad. Despite Brad. Because she's a kid who needs help. I thought about it. Thought about Emma and Noah at 7 and 5, traumatized and scared. Thought about Brad's cruelty. Thought about karma. You're right. Let me see if I can find her. I pulled up Instagram on my phone. Searched for Sophia Patterson. Found her profile. It was private, but the profile picture showed a pretty girl with dark hair, smiling with another girl who I assumed was Mia. I sent a message. Sophia, this is your Aunt Rachel. Your dad called me. I know you came out as bisexual. I want you to know, you're valid. You're loved. If you need support or just someone to talk to, I'm here. I hit send and waited. 3 hours later, I got a response. Aunt Rachel? Oh my God. Yes. Please. Can we meet? I have so much to tell you. We arranged to meet at a Starbucks in Capitol Hill the next day. I drove there nervous, not knowing what to expect. Would Sophia be angry that I'd cut off contact with her father? Would she understand why? She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table, looking anxious. She stood up when she saw me, and I was struck by how much she looked like Brad. Same dark hair, same sharp features. But her eyes were kinder. Softer. Aunt Rachel? Sophia. Hi. It's been a long time. 9 years. I was 8 the last time I saw you. We sat down. She had a vanilla latte in front of her, mostly untouched. So your dad called me, I said. She winced. I'm so sorry. I didn't ask him to. He did that on his own. He wants me to tell you that being bisexual is a phase. I know. He thinks you can talk me out of it. Since I worship you or whatever. Do you? Worship me? She smiled slightly. I've followed you and your family online for years. through fake accounts Dad doesn't know about. I've watched Emma and Noah grow up. Seen your family. You all look so happy. We are happy. But it wasn't always easy. Especially after what your dad did. Her smile faded. I know. I found out about that. Dad mentioned it once, said you were being dramatic about him sharing his faith with your kids. But I looked into it. Asked our parents what actually happened. They told me he'd explained hell to Emma and Noah. He traumatized them. Emma had nightmares for 2 years. Noah had panic attacks. They needed therapy for years. I'm so sorry. That's awful. I didn't know how bad it was. Your dad thought he was doing the right thing. Saving their souls. But what he actually did was weaponize religion against children. To punish me through them. That's what he's doing to me now. Trying to use God and the Bible to make me feel wrong. To make me hate myself. How are you handling it? Not great. I came out 2 weeks ago. Told my parents I'm bisexual and dating Mia. Dad completely lost it. Started yelling about sin and corruption and biblical values. Mom just cried. They've been trying to pray the gay away ever since. I'm sorry. Don't be. I knew it would go badly. I've known I was bi since I was 15. I've been hiding it, preparing myself. I came out because I couldn't hide anymore. Mia is amazing. I love her. I'm not ashamed. Good. You shouldn't be. But it's hard. Dad won't even look at me. Mom keeps crying. My younger brother Michael doesn't understand what's happening. The whole house is tense. And I need someone who understands. Someone who's been through this. I understand. And I'm here. But Sophia, I need you to know, I'm not doing this for your dad. I'm helping you despite him. Because of what he did to my kids. I'll never forgive him for that. I don't blame you. What he did was unforgivable. We talked for 2 hours. I told her about my own coming out, about building a life with Jessica, about the challenges and joys of being a queer parent. I gave her resources, LGBTQ youth groups in Seattle, therapists who specialized in religious trauma, online communities. She told me about Mia, about school, about her plans for college. She was smart and articulate and brave. Everything Brad had said was wrong. She wasn't confused. She wasn't in a phase. She was bisexual and she knew it. As we were leaving, she hugged me. Thank you. For being here. For not judging me. For just being proof that it gets better. It does get better. I promise. You're going to be okay, Sophia. Can I stay in touch? Maybe meet Emma and Noah? I've watched them online for years. It would be weird to actually know them. Let me talk to them. But I think they'd like that. That evening, I told Emma and Noah about meeting Sophia. About Brad's call. About everything. Emma's reaction was immediate. He traumatized us for being your kids, and now his own daughter is queer? That's incredible karma. It is. Sophia wants to meet you. Both of you. If you're comfortable with that. Noah looked thoughtful. Is she okay? Uncle Brad was really mean to us. He's probably worse to her. She's struggling. But she's strong. And I think having family who accept her would help. Then yes, Emma said. We should meet her. She's our cousin. And she needs us. Sophia came over for dinner a week later. Brought Mia with her. The 6 of us, Emmy, Jessica, Emma, Noah, Sophia, and Mia, sat around our table eating Thai food and talking like we'd known each other forever. Sophia fit into our family instantly. She and Emma bonded over activism and social justice. Noah showed her his paintings. Mia was sweet and funny and clearly adored Sophia. It became a regular thing. Sophia would visit every few weeks, sometimes with Mia, sometimes alone. She'd talk about her struggles with her parents, her plans for college, her life. We'd listen and support and love her. Brad never called again. Never reached out. I assumed he'd realized I wasn't going to help him fix his daughter. Good. Because Sophia didn't need fixing. She needed exactly what she was getting: acceptance, love, and family who saw her for who she was. Brad had told my children I was going to hell. Had traumatized them with religious fear. Had weaponized his faith to hurt the people I loved most. Now his own daughter was queer. And she'd found family with the aunt he'd tried to erase. The satanic influence he'd warned about. That was justice. That was karma. That was exactly what he'd earned. And I'd never felt more at peace.